Welcome back, everybody. So here we are with licensed professional counselor, play children therapist, and parent coaching person, Maria Arias, my cousin. And today we were thinking about talking about the topic of play as adults. We just don't play anymore. We're all on this, routine that I have to do. And play just is a afterthought. And yet should be center of our lives because, as Molly explained a few days ago, it actually regulates our emotions. So Molly, what do you think about this?
Yeah, thanks, Donna. This is such a fun topic, right? Because play, we just want to put it aside, but actually adults need play. And what does it look like when adults play? So it can look a million different ways. So for example, when we make art or we observe art, that can be counted as play. Cooking can also be play. Going to the beach for a walk or going to a walk at the park can also be play. It's very important though, and this is true for children as well. If it's play, then we've got to be in the present moment and not necessarily be result oriented.
So that result oriented is huge because as adults, we are always striving to, and I think that's, we're striving to get this result. So for example, I'm not somebody that truly enjoys the kitchen. I love washing dishes.
Oh, that's great.
It's crazy because I remember our grandmother would say, I know you heard her, Molly, I love washing dishes because it's kind of playing with the water. It's like if the water were trying to play with me. And our grandmother was blind. For all of you that, didn't know our grandmother, she was blind. But she could kind of, it sounds crazy, but she could kind of play with the water and see through the water in many ways because of the way she spoke. It was a way of playing. And I think that I like washing dishes for that reason. But when it comes to cooking, which most people would think is very creative, I literally don't like it. But my husband, his stress levels just go down. I can see his shoulders literally melting stress away as he's chopping. And honest to God, we have some of the best meals in this house thanks to him. Yes. So can you explain a little bit more about this process that I'm trying to get to? And maybe I don't have the words or the technical words to say exactly what goes on because it's interesting.
Sure. So it's like you said, it's like the process, like the chopping or the washing. It's not necessarily like, if we're going to go for a walk that we count every step. But here's the thing. So you've got to have some space around it. But also what you're describing with the cooking is a type of creative activity, also with washing dishes, right? So these creative activities, it's a way to play that flushes out our frustration levels. But we can also go with destructive activities, such as smashing cans. You can get a can crusher. Sometimes I just get the cans that are in the recycle and get the hammer and start hammering them down flat. That's a way to release the frustration, or breaking some plates in the backyard. Those things are also play. So there's creative play and there's destructive play. And then there's something called melancholy inducing play, which is where we want to feel, melancholy is like our sadness. We want to bring it out. So sometimes we watch a sad movie or put on a sad song or something that helps us to flush out the sadness that can be stuck.
So that's the one that comes along as you're watching a movie, weeping and eating a pint of ice cream. Is that correct? Am I actually talking about that correct?
Yeah, it does something. Yeah. So allowing ourselves as adults to have that cry, even seeking it out. Like if you know that your frustration levels are high, like with the start of the school year and all of these things happening, do those things for yourself. Really seek out creative, destructive, or melancholy inducing play.
I had no idea that there were those different types of plays. But what you're saying about this, and I want to bring it back to teachers right now, and actually it's not even all about teachers. I mean, teachers right now are under a lot of stress because we're starting a new year under a very new format. It's very regimented in many ways because, we have to fill in this amount of time. And there has to be, we are accountable for these amounts of times, and yet we don't know how it's going to work out with the technology. If it was any indication of what happened, at the beginning of last March and going into the end of the school year, past school year, 2020, 2019, 2020, we have learned and we have been working on our abilities to be able to, be more resourceful. And I think that that is part of what comes with play, being able to adapt more. I think that that would go into what we would call the, pulling in from our own abilities to be able to start enjoying the process more, because, for a while it didn't feel that way. But I think that the idea that as we are going back as teachers, and we are not sure of how this technology is going to work, if it's going to have glitches, all these different things, how children are going to respond to us on the computer, because this time we don't know a lot of the kids, they're new to us, brings a sense of how do I have this? Can I do it? And I think that when we are going back into teaching, so for example, the first week that I'm going into teaching, is that I'm really going to incorporate a lot of the play. So I hope that, it becomes easier for me and for the students. So we're really going to be working a lot on the social emotional, just, getting to know us, getting to know our classroom, our new classmates, getting to know ourselves through, and I was thinking of plays, so I was thinking of giving them riddles. I was thinking of giving them, like an assignment, draw something, show it to me. More or less what they get, show me your best moves as they're dancing. And a lot of people will say, well, this is dumb because it's not academic. And we don't realize that as adults and as children, we're so focused on training the mind, the mind needs this, the mind needs that, if we're going to perform it, it comes from a place of the brain. But we forget that we need to take care of this soul within us. And a lot of this has to do with the way that administrations are set up. And, and the higher ups are asking administrations to do things.
Yeah. It's like
time for play.
It's a misunderstanding that play is extra. So play is essential for the learning, even though it doesn't look like it in the moment. Okay. It looks like it's a diversion, but it's actually essential for children. It's essential for us. It's essential in a way of like connecting us. And especially when you're describing all of this pressure, this very highly pressurized time, play is the antidote. So if we really want to move forward, we've got to balance the pressure with play.
So I'm going back to that example that we were talking about. And I think that this goes for all professions. I mean, God bless all the nurses and the doctors and all the essential workers. I mean, they are operating under a lot of stress as well. But what I was thinking of is what could be like a good activity that, can just become play, even if I'm sitting behind a desk or behind a computer, that I could just kind of like become playful in a certain way, at least, even though I'm straight-faced, and somebody's watching at the camera and, because I'm on a Zoom call. What would be a good activity that could just become playful? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do a lot of Zoom calls also for my therapy now. So oftentimes I'll have a piece of paper and my favorite markers there, and I'll do some doodling. So that's just a creative thing that no one's ever going to see. You can put that aside. And then also have things that you can play with your hands, like some fidgets or some Play-Doh or putty or something that can help you, move, stay connected to your body. And then incorporate things, understand your levels of pressure. And when you're full, go for a swim. When you're full, put your to-do list aside enough. And if you do go for a hike or a walk, don't worry about the number of steps you're taking. Get yourself outside of time and enjoy the moment so that then you can be more productive when it's time.
So as you're talking about fidgets, of course, the teacher and me, I don't know if you guys can see this. These are something that I use with the children that have autism. In the library, the light is a little bit shiny, but here, for example, it's use a finger fidget, so they're fidgeting. Here, look at a glitter wand. So these are good for us as well. Throw a sensory ball, squeeze a sensory ball, or color.
Yeah. Yes.
So as I'm in a meeting, I can be doing these things, and it helps. I remember, one of my brothers is extremely hyperactive, off the charts hyperactive. And I remember that they would give him silly putty and he would be squishing it, you know, constantly so that he would help himself regulate. And
Yeah.
that as an adult, you know, right now would be something that would help us. So I think that that
Yeah.
is a good suggestion, Molly. Thank you.
Yeah. Be sure to play.
And we will do that. So we will let you go and we will pick up on this next week. Sounds
Yeah. Thanks, Donna.
good. Thank you. Bye.